He was known as the man who had everything: a towering mansion overlooking the city skyline, a fleet of luxury cars, and a name that commanded respect in every business room. Yet, one ordinary afternoon, a simple lunchbox from a struggling employee would shake his world, strip away his pride, and make him believe in something money could never buy: love. It all began on a rainy Tuesday afternoon when Alexander Reed, a 38-year-old millionaire CEO of Reed Enterprises, walked through the employee cafeteria for the first time in years. He wasn't supposed to be there. His assistant had double-booked his meeting, and with the storm causing a city-wide blackout, he decided to spend some time observing his staff. Truthfully, he just wanted to kill time, but destiny had other plans. At a corner table sat a young woman quietly eating alone. Her name was Emily Carter. She worked as a junior data analyst, barely noticeable among hundreds of employees. Her hair was tied back neatly, her clothes simple, and her lunchbox, an old, dented metal container, stood out amid the fancy takeouts and branded coffee cups surrounding her coworkers. Alexander wouldn't have looked twice, but something about the way she carefully folded her napkin before eating made him pause. It was so deliberate, so human. He approached her table unexpectedly, startling her. "Mind if I sit?" he asked casually, his voice firm but curious. Emily's eyes widened. "Yes, sir, of course, please." She quickly moved her things aside, visibly nervous. The cafeteria went silent. Everyone stared. The boss sitting with a regular employee was unheard of. Alexander smiled faintly, trying to ease her tension. "You bring lunch from home?" "Yes," she replied softly. "It's cheaper that way." Something in her tone, humility mixed with quiet pride, stirred something in him. He gestured toward her lunchbox. "May I?" Emily hesitated but nodded, handing it over with trembling fingers. He opened it slowly and froze. Inside wasn't a restaurant-style meal or something neatly packed. It was 2 slices of bread, 1 small piece of cheese, and half an apple. For a moment, neither of them spoke. "This is your lunch?" he asked quietly. She nodded, her eyes lowering. I send most of my money to my little brother's school. He's the only family I have left. So, I try to save wherever I can." Something in Alexander cracked. For years he had measured worth in numbers, profits, and results. But now, staring at that small lunchbox, he saw a kind of richness he'd never known: sacrifice. That night, he couldn't sleep. The image of her small, humble meal haunted him. He had met people who begged for raises, people who lied for bonuses, but she had never complained once. Instead, she quietly endured. The next day, he noticed her again. This time, she was helping a colleague fix a broken computer, even though it wasn't her job. Her smile was soft, her patience endless. And suddenly, he found himself waiting for moments just to see that smile again. Weeks passed, and their paths crossed more often. He started eating in the cafeteria, claiming to observe employee morale, but everyone knew the truth. He was watching her. Emily remained polite, professional, always respectful, but slowly their conversations grew warmer. She told him about her dreams, wanting to open a small art studio one day. Her late mother had been an artist, but Emily had given it up to support her brother. "Why didn't you pursue it?" he asked one evening. "Dreams don't feed people, Mr. Reed," she said softly. "Reality does." That sentence cut through him like a knife. For the first time in years, he questioned his own choices. His endless chase for success, his loneliness, his sterile mansion that echoed with emptiness. Then, one evening, something happened that would change everything. Emily fainted at work. She hadn't eaten breakfast, too busy finishing a project, and hadn't told anyone she was feeling unwell. Alexander rushed her to the hospital himself. When the doctor told him she was suffering from malnutrition and exhaustion, his heart sank. He sat beside her hospital bed for hours, watching her sleep. And in that stillness, he realized what he truly wanted. Not another company, not another deal, but her. Her simplicity, her kindness, her strength. When Emily woke up, she looked startled to see him there. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to," he interrupted gently. "You've been taking care of everyone but yourself. Someone has to look after you too." Tears welled up in her eyes. "Why are you doing this for me?" He smiled faintly. "Because you reminded me what it means to be human." From that day, Alexander changed, not just for her, but for himself. He raised employee benefits, started a fund for lower-income workers, and made sure no one at Reed Enterprises went home hungry again. But most of all, he started showing up, not as a boss, but as a man learning how to care. Emily recovered slowly, and though she was hesitant at first, she couldn't deny the growing bond between them. He began joining her for lunch every day, and one afternoon he surprised her with her own art set wrapped in a simple white box. "I can afford to give you more than this," he said softly. "But I think this is what your heart really wants." Her hands trembled as she opened it. "I don't know what to say." "Say you'll teach me to paint?" He grinned. And she did. They spent weekends painting in the company garden, laughter replacing the silence that once filled his life. Slowly, love bloomed, not born of luxury, but of quiet understanding. Months later, during a company charity event, Alexander stood before everyone and told their story, not the sanitized corporate version, but the real one. About how one woman's humble lunchbox taught him the value of compassion, how it changed his heart, and how he fell in love not with perfection, but with sincerity. He ended his speech with the same words she once said to him: "Dreams don't feed people, but love gives you the strength to dream again." And when he looked at Emily standing in the front row, tears in her eyes, he knew his life had finally begun the moment he opened that lunchbox. The millionaire had found something priceless, not just love, but meaning. And the woman who once saved every penny to feed her brother had unknowingly fed his soul. Because sometimes the smallest box holds the greatest treasure, and the richest hearts aren't the ones with gold, but with grace.